college basketball in a massive brawl, marring the end of the game between number 3 Kansas and rival Kansas State. These are the final seconds. They're just dribbling out the clock. And then Deshaun Gordon steals the ball. Silvio De Sousa comes over, blocks the shot, and stands over him, staring him down. That begets this, an altercation. Both benches empty. Punches thrown. De Sousa, at some point in here, picks up a stool and appears ready to use it as a weapon before an assistant coach grabs it from him. Local police help to eventually break up the brawl, which spilled into the seating area where fans with disabilities were sitting. Here are both coaches on the incident.
Obviously, it's an embarrassment. It's not something that you'd be proud of. You know, what happened is absolutely zero signs of toughness. I mean, it's a sign of immaturity and selfishness more so than it is toughness. But still, it's inexcusable. I mean, these things can't happen. This doesn't have anything to do with competition. Those were selfish motives on why it took place at the end.
You win with class, you lose with class. It's disappointing that anything had to happen at the end. It's a bad play. You know, it's disappointing. Life lessons for our young guys. Hopefully next time they'll be a little smarter.
Richard Jefferson, what's your reaction to this brawl?
Well, look, everything that the coaches said, Bruce Weber's comments there, I don't think were as aggressive as they should be, not only to his team, but just to all of college basketball. Because in that moment, you're going to talk to every kid out there, kids that are coming in, parents that are possibly looking at your school. And so yes, disappointment. We've seen enough of these brawls. We understand what's going on in these moments. But I just really believe that, look, this is inexcusable, but coaches are the parents. When coaches show up and he was like, well, this is not, the performance that we want for our kids. It's like, no, you need to be lighting into your kids and you need to be lighting in to anyone that's asking that question.
Jay?
This is not acceptable. This is wrong. There shouldn't be fights. But I also want to put this in perspective. This is a rivalry game. And look, the kid made a play at the end. He stole the ball. He got his shot blocked. This is a bigger issue with Silvio De Sousa. I think he will be suspended.
And should be.
And should be suspended.
Yeah.
But also, let's remember, last year, he sat out all last year due to an investigation by the NCAA. Kansas is under investigation by the NCAA. Okay, so this is just compounded upon what's already happened this year. Even if you bring in the Snoop Dogg incident, Midnight Madness, all these things have been leading. And this is why overall, I don't see a long-term play for Bill Self to be at Kansas. I really do. I really see Bill Self coaching an NBA team. I know he has ties into the San Antonio Spurs. I can see Bill Self in time becoming an NBA coach.
All right, so there's two separate stories.
Yes, I know they are.
We're dealing with two different things. We'll go big picture like that in a minute. Let's go little picture. Suspension. What should it be? Should the player, Silvio De Sousa in particular, should he? I heard Jay Billis, I heard Dick Vitale. What?
Suspended? Yes.
How significantly is what I'm asking? Obviously, there'll be a suspension.
First of all, even though he didn't get a chance to use the chair, it wasn't because he individually decided to put it down. It's because someone took the chair out of his hand.
Right.
He actually turned over his shoulder and said, who took my weapon?
Yeah.
Right? He should be suspended
RJ,
for
first
15,
off,
20
you
games.
have the right to bear chairs in this country. Okay, that's a joke.
That is.
All right.
Thank you.
I agree with you. He should be suspended. He should. I mean, the fact that
I heard Dick Vitale say he should be suspended for the rest of the season. He should never wear a Kansas uniform again.
I think that's a little bit extreme.
That's a little much.
You know what's really funny? We're not allowed to be very harsh and critical on kids because they're at college, and then also we are. The thing about being a kid is you're going to make mistakes in the heat of the moment. I think there's a learning opportunity there for Silvio De Sousa, and I don't want to take away the whole season, maybe 10 games.
10 games, 100%.
How do they, because look, this doesn't really matter as all this factors in, but they are a favorite, Kansas is, to win the national title, according to Caesar Sportsbook. How does this get handled for the rest of the team? Because there were a lot of players that were involved in this, and we are expecting the Big 12 to hand down some suspensions today.
This is where I get lost because I haven't seen all the footage to lend a proper perspective on this. I don't even know if Silvio De Sousa threw the first punch. I just saw him pick up the chair, right? So you don't even see the reaction of who threw the first punch. There was a push, somebody else pushed, and then it goes into a wide shot. So, look, the player's obviously coming off the bench. They got ejected from the game. They might take a one-game suspension. I don't think overall this is going to hurt Kansas to win a championship. It probably takes away from their lack of depth from the front court position in which Silvio De Sousa held.
Well, should it hurt Kansas, though? With this type of display, should there be harsher suspensions?
And again, there's a pattern of behavior. This was an isolated incident that you are upset about and everyone should be furious about. This doesn't happen very often in college basketball. This happens a lot more in professional sports when there's even more testosterone and guys are even doing a little bit more crazy things. So I look at this, you suspend the people that initiated this thing, you set some ground rules, you let people know that are running off the bench that this will not be tolerated. But also, too, I think Weber needed to be, in his press conference, needed to be a little bit more damning of everything that just went down.
The way the whole thing happened was complicated because Bruce Weber kept saying that he didn't see what happened.
He was shaking hands with
part of
himself.
that, yes, they were already in the handshake line, many people were. And so as a consequence of that, those are the players who come running over. It's one thing to come off the bench. They're all kind of walking over to shake hands. The game is basically over now. They put 1/10 of a second back on the clock and made people shoot free throws at the end of this for reasons known only to them. I guess that's the rule and they have to do it. But one way or another, look, it is a terrible moment. It is a terrible night. And I believe that the question that comes up first is it on the schools to discipline the players? Is it on the conference to discipline the players? Is it on the NCAA to discipline the players? Who needs to step in here and make the immediate decisions as to what happens?
I think it's going to be on the NCAA. I think it's a bigger play. It should be on the school.
I think it should be on the coaches in the schools because the coaches are the ones that are going to recruit kids and recruit families, and they need to be the ones that say this isn't going to be tolerated. And if the NCAA wants to add more to that and say, hey, look, 5 is not enough, we're going to suspend them for an extra 5.
Look, this is a rivalry game.
But there are other rivalry games where this doesn't happen.
RJ, you tried to smack the back of my head when we were playing against you guys in Arizona.
But that's fine. But chairs do not get thrown because it's a rivalry game. That is
he didn't. First off, don't change the conversation. He didn't throw a chair.
Weapons do not get picked up.
He picked up a chair
and got it taken away.
Yes, but he did not use the chair.
Intent?
He did not use the chair. Okay, there's intent there, but he did not use the chair.
I'll suspend you for intent.
That's fine for 10 games.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube.
For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app.
And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.